អង្គជំនុំជម្រះប្រកាសបន្តកិច្ចដំណើរការនីតិវិធីសកម្មការហើយសួស្តីលោកឯកហ៊ឿនលោកបានត្រៀមខ្លួនរួចហើយឬនៅ
បានត្រៀម
Are you ready, witness? Answer, yes, I am ready. President, thank you. The chamber is now going to give the floor to the Kyusompon defense so that the Kyusompon Defense Council may put questions to the witness. President, or rather, the Nunchia Council Defense is given the floor. Council Savanath, thank you, Mr. President. Mr. Haikhoon, I would like to put questions to you in relation to Yekrom. Based on your observations, was Yekom someone who was kind or was she wicked? Answer, she was very wicked. She supervised the harvests, and she saw a lady carrying her baby, so she asked the lady to leave her baby aside in order to help her push her cart. Question, was she someone who would obey the orders from the higher echelon? Answer, no, she would do everything upon her own decision. She would not obey the orders from the higher echelon. Since she was part of the sector committee, she did not receive orders from the higher echelon, and she simply would speak to the members, and then she would do as she wished. So, question, I would like to speak about document E319/8.2.4 at question 54. Rather, question 34. Before the co-investigating judges, you put a question, or they put a question to you. So those who were arrested were sent to Prek Malkon Kmeng Forest. After the fall of the Khmer Rouge regime, many execution sites were discovered. Could you therefore explain or give us clarification in that regard? And you answered then, communes would kill members of the new people upon their own decision. So according to your observations, question, the communes were not entitled to carry out such executions. Is that the case? Answer, there were no orders of that kind. The commune chiefs would do that upon their own decision, because often people were sent to Yekom for issues involving executions. Question, at document E127/7.1.8, this is a document that concerns a witness who was a commune chief. The commune chief of Chengtong Commune. Do you know Savon? Answer, no, I never heard about him. Question, was he the chief of Chengtong Commune and he had been transferred to Sector 25? Is that the case? Answer, no. never heard that name. Question. At question and answer 25, he answered that by being part of the Commune Committee, I am not envious of anyone, but I was allowed to report to the higher echelon. That was the only power I had. I quote, Tamok ordered the district and the sector to not carry out arrests or executions. At question and answer 7, rather at question and answer 9, he said that before 1975, during an annual assessment meeting in the jungle, to which the commerce committees, commune committees attended, as well as the district and battalion and regiments. After 1975, another meeting was held at the Takeo town, at the provincial seat, with Tamok's participation, during which Som, who was the head of Sector 13, stated that it was forbidden to touch the Lundol soldiers from the rank of second lieutenant to colonel. Do you agree with the testimony of this witness who said that the sectors, the districts, and the communes were not allowed to carry out arrests? Answer, no, I am not aware of all of this. I only was aware of what was happening at the commune and district levels, so I cannot say anything about this issue. Now I'm going to move on to another topic. During yesterday's hearing, you said that the Prekmaut Kon Khmeng forest children had been buried there before 1970, and then after 1970, Lundol soldiers were killed there. And you also said that at the beginning of the 1990s, rather in 1979, people sought refuge in this forest where they were shot. Earlier, you said that executions would only happen in that forest. So my question is, if the skulls in that forest were the skulls of the people who had been slaughtered in 1979 or before 1975? So, was it before 1975 or after 1979? Answer. These skulls as I said, the bodies were cremated, so the skulls that we saw after 1970 were the skulls of the people who had been killed after 1970. Yesterday, says the council, at around 2 p.m., you said that in 2000, skulls found in Prey Kmal Kon Kmeng had been gathered at Krang Tachang. So I would like to know where you got that information from. Answer. In 2004, I went back to my home village, which is 500 meters away from Krang Tachang. In fact, I forgot your question. Let me repeat my question, says the council. You said that the skulls that had been found in that forest were dropped off at Krang Tachang. So I would like to ask you who gave you that information. Answer. I don't know if the local authorities built that warehouse to store the skulls, because the forest is located about 50 meters away from Krang Tachang. The skulls well, in fact, the Khmer Rouge only killed adults. And the people working under the Khmer Rouge regime would go to that forest, and in 1979 we discovered skulls of little children as well. So I don't know if the local people or the authorities built this warehouse to store these skulls. In 2004, that's what I was told. Question. So when you were working at the Commerce Office in Tramkok, did you ever see or ever hear about Krang Tachang? The Krang Tachang office, answer, was created under Democratic Kampuchea. You were working at the district, so did you ever hear about the center? Answer. Please hold on, Mr. Ulhoen. Deputy Co-Prosecutor, please proceed. Yes, I would like to rectify contradictions. The office was created way before, because the Democratic Kampuchea dates back to 1976. Therefore, it's not correct. This question is repetitive. He already answered that question yesterday. He already said that he was not aware of that center during the regime, and that he only learned about that center after the regime. Mr. President, yesterday the witness said during the hearing, it was at 10 and 6 seconds, and the witness said that he learned about the existence of this center only in the year 2000. So he never made any statements in that regard under the DK regime. Council Silvana, well, now I would like to move on to another topic. Mr. Eichhorn, you stated that because your mother was Vietnamese and therefore you were not a desirable person, and because of that, were you ever sent to a re-education center because of your undesirable origins? President, Mr. Eichhorn, did you understand the question? You are not answering the question, I see. Counsel, please repeat your question to the witness. Please turn on the microphone, yes. Okay. So the question, given the fact that you had undesirable origins, were you ever summoned or were you ever placed in a re-education center? Answer. Well, with regard to my undesirable origins, I was not the only person concerned. Many other people were concerned by this. And we were never sent to be re-educated because of that. They would only send CIA agents or KGB agents to be re-educated, but I was afraid. Question, yesterday you said that a re-education center was located at Angroka. And those who had committed moral misconduct were sent there to be re-educated for a period less than 6 months. Then they were released. So, did you ever come close to the center, and how often, if that was the case? Answer. This center was located 100 meters away from where I was working. And since my work was very hard, they asked some prisoners to come help me, and the lazy ones had to spend 6 months in this center, and those who were assiduous could leave the center after 1 month. Question. Thank you. Now I would like to speak to you about the Cham. You said that the Cham and the Vietnamese and the monks would also work on work sites. Were the Cham and the Khmer working separately in compliance with the policies issued by the higher echelon? Answer. I never said that there were Cham in District 105. Question. Thank you. Now I would like to move on to another topic which pertains to the Lundol soldiers and to the Lundol officials. You stated that the evacuees had been gathered within the Chamkaluk pagoda, and then biographies had been drawn up, and that the soldiers and the officials of the Khmer Republic had been taken away. So I would like to ask you where they were taken away to. Answer. well, we would issue propaganda to convince officers in saying that village and commune deputies had to register in order to take on their duties again, and the second lieutenants and the captains could also go back to their stations. And once these lists were drawn up, they were sent to the south, and the remaining ones were scattered into different villages. That's all that I saw. Question: so you saw them being taken away to the south? That's all you saw? Yes? Answer: yes, that is the case. Question: yesterday you said that the biographies of the former London servicemen and officials within Chamka Luk Pagoda were drawn up, and you said that these biographies, or that these lists rather, were sent to the commune and to the village. What did you add to that? Answer: I saw that, and I don't know if the villages or the communes sent these lists to the higher echelons.
Question: yesterday you testified that the most senior cadres over there were Samdon, who was your cousin. Yikom and Tamok were not there. That's what you stated. In addition, you said that you were there for an hour only, so you did not know much about what happened there. And my question to you is the following: why now you said that a list was drawn up on the biographies of the former officers amongst those people, and that later on those people were gathered up and sent to the south direction? And whatever they did, they never told us, and they would only do it amongst themselves. And I did not say about the list being drawn up, counsel. So now are you saying that you did not say that the list of the former Lonos officials and officers was drawn up during the Democratic Cambodia period at the Champalu Pagoda? Is that correct? Answer: indeed, the list had already been drawn up at the gathering place before the people were sent to various locations in various communes. Council, now I move on to another topic, that is on the treatment of the Vietnamese. Question: did you ever see a list of Vietnamese or former soldiers or local civil servants? Answer: no, I never saw it, because those people, once they were brought out of the barrack, they were sent to villages, and I saw them there on the ground in the villages. I never saw any list of Vietnamese people. And only when they were tracked to be killed, then I saw them on the track, including the person by the name of Lon, who was the younger in-law of Tamok. And the district instructed the village to keep those people in one place, and a week later they were tracked out. I made Lon, and in fact I called him by another name, Moin. And I asked about those people, asked how many, and he said 9,000, but I did not know whether he referred to 9,000 people or 9,000 families. Those people were gathered up from various communes, including Popel, Ong Ta Saum, Li Bo, totaling 6 communes. And the total number was 9,000, although I don't know whether it referred to the number of people or the number of families. Counsel, did you witness the execution of those Vietnamese people? Answer, no, I did not. I only saw them being tracked out. At that time, I was doing a land survey, and I saw them being tracked out along National Road number 3. And they were taken out in a different direction, opposite the way to the Cambodia-Vietnam border. So they were taken out in another road, and they disappeared. That's all I saw. They were taken on road number 31 toward the Tani direction. Question: did you ever see any corpses of Vietnamese people after they had been executed? Answer: no. They were killed in the forest at a mountain, and I did not walk through the mountain area. I only did a land survey nearby the village. Question: how did you know that the Vietnamese people were executed near that mountain? Answer: I did not know how or which method they used to kill those people. Question: so the information that the Vietnamese people were killed was obtained from whom? Answer: I witnessed it when I was at the office, because at that time Tajai chaired a meeting, and next day Lon went to instruct all those commune chiefs to gather up those Vietnamese people, and later on Lon took a truck to transport them away. And I refer to Lon alias Moin, who is now living in On Lung Veng. Question: did you attend that meeting? Answer: no, but at that time I was asked to serve refreshment to those attendees. I only overheard what they said. Question: does it mean that you simply knew or heard that Lon was instructed to gather up those Vietnamese and put them on track? Is that correct? Answer: yes, that is correct. It was a long, it was a track with a long body. Question: but you did not witness or know about the killing of those Vietnamese. Is that correct? Answer: yes. Question: yesterday you testified that if a husband had a Vietnamese wife or a Khmer wife had a Vietnamese husband, they and their children would all be sent out. I have one question in relation to this matter. What about your parents? What was the fate of your parents? And you stated that your mother was of a Vietnamese origin. Answer. They said the wheel of history was in full motion and it would crush anyone in its path. But the Com said because my parents were already old, so they were spared. Question. What about the relatives of your Vietnamese mother? Were they taken away and killed? Answer. One of my youngest siblings was detained from 76 to 78 in Kampong Saum. He was detained because of my mother's origin as a Vietnamese. Question. So, if the mother was a Vietnamese, then the children or her children would be detained but not killed. Is that true? Answer. They did not do anything to him, nor put him in a re-education center. However, for those people who spoke Vietnamese, they would be arrested. And there was none of them to be smashed anymore after they had been gathered up. Question. Did you have the knowledge about the exchange of the Vietnamese living in Cambodia with the Cambodians living in Vietnam? Answer. For the initial step, the Tamok would gather the Vietnamese people for the exchange. But when those Cambodians arriving to Cambodia did not find anything to eat, so they resorted to stealing at night. And when Tamok found out, he cancelled the exchange program. Counsel, thank you, Mr. President. I don't have any further question for the witness. President, thank you. The Chamber now hands the floor to the defense team for Kieu Sampon. Counsel Kung Samon, thank you, Mr. President, and good morning, Mr. President, Your Honors, and good morning, Mr. Ai Hyun. Can you hear me? Again, good morning, Mr. Ai Hyun. Ai Hyun, good morning. Counsel, my name is Kung Samon. I'm a defense counsel for my client, Kieu Sampon, and I have some questions for you. First, I'd like to ask you some questions about your personal background. And you just said that your mother was of a Vietnamese origin. And yesterday, from what I heard, that your grandfather was a pure Vietnamese who could not speak Khmer, and that the grandfather was on your mother's side. Is my understanding correct? Answer, yes, that is correct. Because when I was born, I saw my grandfather who did not speak Khmer, but my mother spoke Khmer with an accent. Counsel, thank you. Can you tell the court that your mother, Nam Hong, was she born in Cambodia, living in Cambodia, or did she live in Vietnam or elsewhere for some times? Answer. She was born in Cambodia, and her grandmother, who was pure Khmer, also was born in Cambodia and lived in Cambodia until she passed away. Thank you. Question. Can you tell the place of birth of your rather the place where your mother lived? Answer. Currently, she lives in Trapang Thom, Tram Kok, Takao province, and her grandparents' place was in Chao Dok, Mot Chru. Thank you. Question. So you said your mother lived in the location where you just described before 75 and until 75. Is that correct? Answer, yes, that is correct. Question. Did your mother at any time leave her place of residence? Answer, no, she did not go any far from where she lived. She was poor and mainly she stayed in the village. Thank you. Question. Now, in relation to your siblings, and you already informed the chamber that your elder brother Taheng, who was commander of a military division and died due to the aerial bombardment in 1973, and then another elder brother Tayao, who was a deputy chief of Kohondai district. Is that correct? Yes, that is correct, says the witness. Thank you. Question. Can you tell the court whether Tayao was your elder or younger brother? Answer, Tayao and Taheng, they were all my elder brothers. Question. And Tayao was the deputy chief of Kohondai district. Can you describe the time period? Answer. I knew that he was in that position when Tasun was promoted as well. So after the three district committee members were arrested, they replaced them, and that was in 73. Question. Can you tell the court the three people who were arrested, who were they? Answer, I did not know their names. I only saw them when they were taken off a vehicle. Thank you. Question. Can you tell the court whether any of your other siblings who were cadres during the period of Democratic Cambodia regime? I recall that you had a cousin by the name of Dawn. Answer. Yes. Only Tayao and Taheng, who were my blood brothers. Then I had Sam Dawn, who was my cousin and who was chief of the district of an office in the district of Tram Kok. Question, were there other relatives? Answer, no. Question, and you yourself, did you have any close friends who were former cadres during the DK period in Tram Kok district? Answer, no. Thank you. Question. I'd like now to ask you about your personal background. And you stated that you lived in Tram Kok district And before 1975, you were a group chief. And later on, you went to live at a house where the Jim lived. And I want to know, when did you go and live at that house with the Jim? Answer. In 1973, I was assigned to be a group chief. However, after my due to my background, social background, then I was removed, and Yikom wanted to locate me, but the Jim hid me in his house, and Yikom only found me in 1976. Thank you. Question. During the time that you were living at the Jim's house, and you already stated that the Jim was your in-law, what were you doing when you stayed at the Jim's house? Answer. When Ye Chum wanted to arrest me at the district office, then the Jim came to tell me that I was being searched by that group. Then the Jim learned about that, and he hit me at his house for 2 days, and later on he assigns me to work for the land survey department. Question. Allow me to reconfirm that. You stayed at Jim's house for 2 days only in order to hide yourself there. Is that correct? Answer. Yes, that is correct. Question. Do you recall the location of the Jim's house? Answer. There was no one fixed house where the Jim lived. He would live here or there for a month or two, and the place that I stayed with him, it was to the west of Kuch Pagoda. And by March 1977, he was transferred to the northwest zone. Question regarding the house where you stayed with the Jim, and you said it's near Kuch Pagoda. Was it in Kuch commune? Answer. Yes. Question. And which village? Answer. I think I made a mistake. It should be in Nhai Nhong commune, but adjacent to Kuch commune. Thank you. Question. And the distance from Kuch commune to Ye Kom's house, what was the distance? Answer. It was far. It was in excess of 10 kilometers toward the direction of Krang Tachan and my village. Thank you. Question. Now I'd like to ask you questions in relation to the nature of your work. You only stayed for 2 days at the Jim's house, then you started working for the land survey department. Was it called so? Was it a land survey department, or was it referred to as a unit or something? Answer. We were designated as the surveyor for canal buildings. So we were regarded as land surveyors. Thank you. Question. And who was your superior at the time, if you recall? Answer. Bun Yen was in charge of the land survey department, and he completed his higher education, so he was very knowledgeable in this area. But myself, I only engage in physical work, for example, carrying wooden poles. Thank you. Question. Was that department divided into other, say, units or groups under the supervision of a Chim? Answer. As I said, Bun Jem was in charge, and the chief of the department was overall in charge. Question. And how many people in your land survey group? Answer. In fact, one person was selected from each of the 15 communes. So there were 15, and Jane and I were at the district office, and then there was another teacher, so there were 18 in total. Thank you. Question. Can you tell the court from when to when you worked for the land survey group? Answer. I worked there after the entire country had been liberated, and then we were instructed to carry out the land survey in order to build checkered plot for rice fields. And we were still busy doing that, and more busy during the period, busier during the period of 75 and to 76. And that nature of work continued until 1979. Question. So you mean, when you refer to 79, or when you left Tram Kok for Kampong Cham and that work was still ongoing? Answer. Yes, that is correct. Question. Can you tell the court the name of the location where you conducted a land survey? Was it part of a canal or dam? Answer. There were names attached to those locations. For example, at Kpok Trobait, there was a Kpok Trobait dam, and another dam was called Ye Khom Dam, which was close to her house. And then there were a system of canals throughout, which did not have any particular name. And a canal was also dug along National Road number 3, and it was called 02, and it was branched out to District 108, and that canal was kind of big, as it was a 20-meter wide canal. Questioned. The names of the dams and canals that you mentioned were those that your team did the land survey. Is that correct? Answer. In fact, that department started its land survey work since 1975. Then the report would be sent to the district, and the district would maintain such a report. And all the canals, big canals, would have its own report, and that report would be sent to the district. Council interrupts. Mr. Ahern, my question is whether you personally participated in the land survey for those canals and dams. Answer, I attended the land survey for each of the dam and canal I mentioned. Thank you. Question. Was there any canal which had been constructed before your team started working? No, there was none, but there were existing ponds and creeks which had been reworked. Thank you. A question. And when you did the land survey for dam and canal construction, did you ever happen to meet with Ye Kom? Answer, no, I did not. Because by March 1976, she was afraid that Tamok would bury her in the ground up to her neck, so she fled to Koh Kong.
Tamok ro cọp trầm co đã nó roh nằng.
Could you tell us why Tamok wanted to kill her? Answer. Tamok organized 3 meetings, and each time he would announce this message to everyone. So he wanted to kill the author with a hoe. Council Kong Samon, thank you. Do you have any other information or any other reasons to explain why Ye Kom left Tram Kok? Answer, because she was afraid of Tamok, who wanted to kill her. Tamok said that it was necessary to find the person who had killed Tia. Council Kong Samon, yes, I understand, but I'd like to know if you have or know of any other reasons why Ye Kom left Tram Kok. Answer, no. I don't have any other information in that regard. Council Kong Samon, thank you. With regard to Ye Kom still, you said that you were living 100 meters away from Ye Kom's house. For how long did you live next to her house? Answer. She moved there next to where I was living in 1970. And she stayed there until 1976. And after she left, I never saw her again. And she left in March 1976. She left for Koh Kong. Question. When you fought with Ye Kom, can you tell us when this dispute happened? Answer. I never came close to where she was. Question. You didn't understand my question right. My question was, when Yekom wanted to kill you, you escaped, and I wanted to know when you fled. Answer, in 1973, it was after the categories were set up. So Yekrom started showing her claws, and back then there were different classes. There was a lower working class, middle working class, and it's then that she wanted to kill me and to smash me with the wheel of history because of my undesirable origins. Question. So if I'm not mistaken, this was in 1973. It was in 1973 that Yekom wanted to kill you. Yes, answer. Yes, I was constantly trying to flee her. Question. Thank you. In 1973, when she tried to kill you, were you still living next to where she was, or did you leave your house, which was located next to hers? Answer. I stayed there, but I would sleep elsewhere. For example, where I was working, for example, at the Krongtabaik Dam, or I would sleep in other villages where I was working in order to avoid Yekrom. That's what I have to say. It's since the time she tried to kill me that I left my home and started sleeping all over the place, and then she left for Kokong. Question. So you had children. Were your children living with you? Answer, yes. They still live with me now. Question. My question is centered on the period when you were working as with photography and up until the moment when you went to Kampong Cham. So during that period, were your children living with you? Answer, no. My family would carry dirt day and night, so we could not live together. Question. Can you specify the place where they would cart dirt to? Answer, the daughters had to dig up termite mounds, and they had to dig up earth during the dry season. And when you hit the earth with a pickaxe in the dry season, it sparks out. So, and she would cry out, and if she cried out, then you could be brought away to be re-educated. So, question. So, when you had a problem with Yekrom, and your house, therefore, was only 100 meters away from hers. So this means that your children did not live with you, right? Answer, no, that's not true. I would sleep with my children as well when I would return from the work sites. But in 1968, my wife was brought back to where I was staying. Mr. President, it's time for the lunch break. Mr. Ulhun Eichhun. The court will resume in an hour and a half or in 2 hours at 1:30. So please be ready for 1:30. Do you understand? Answer, yes, Mr. President. Security officer, please bring the defendants back to the temporary detention cell and then bring them back to the courtroom at 1:30.